Hey, true believers, Englentine here, and so the wheel goes round, and this gets brought up again. I believe it was a year, 2 years ago, we were talking about this, the whole body shaming thing, and I think it's Bulimia Society body shames athletic people, saying that their bodies are not real, even though we could point to examples that this does happen, especially people living a certain lifestyle. What really gets me about all of this is that there are examples of superheroes who would not necessarily have athletic body types. I always wondered, why are all super strong people always big and muscular when it would be hard for them to find weights that they could lift to keep up that physique? They really should not have that kind of musculature. If there was thought behind this, it would make more sense. Of course, they're not interested in making more sense. They're interested in making a point, but unfortunately they miss it by a mile. So anyway, bulimia.com and the American Addiction Center's edited comic book covers to depict more realistic body types. Superheroes such as Captain America, Wonder Woman were given fuller figures and more realistic facial features. The team behind the project hopes the series sparks conversation about the body standards depicted in popular comic book series. We're used to hearing about unrealistic body standards represented in advertisements and social media, but bulimia.com and the American Addiction Centers are turning their attention to standards set by comic book superheroes. Comic books are as popular as ever thanks to the mainstream success of Marvel and DC Comics. Really? Have they paid attention to the sales? It's not as popular as ever, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. The superheroes that grace their covers may have a lot of influence on impressionable young readers. A recent picture series posted on bulimia.com imagines what these heroes would look like with more realistic body types and the side-by-side show of the often unattainable standards these comics depict. Except it is attainable if you live a certain lifestyle. We see it. You actually see it in Hollywood. Oh my gosh, those are unrealistic. They're there. They are there. And they are like that because they have chosen a career where they need to maintain that kind of physique. Starting off with Catwoman, of course, you have the normal cover on the left, the adjusted cover on the right. They gave her a more realistic waistline, basically made her fatter. And all of these are fat because if you want a realistic body, it's got to be fat. Can't be tall and lanky. Can't be short and stout. Can't be anything but fat. And that's the only thing they changed. That is all they changed, is that they made them fat. Done. That's the body standard for bulimia.com. Now, we know Catwoman to be a martial artist, and we know her to be a gymnast. The way she moves about, I would put her along with floor gymnasts. And here is a picture of an Olympic-level floor gymnast. Kind of sleek, just like Catwoman. And this is the most ridiculous of all. Male superheroes like Batman were given fuller figures that downplayed their typically sculpted physique. Well, you should have used somebody else, because Batman trained himself to be the perfect human being, and you gave him a dad gut. That's not the perfect human being. I know what I'm talking about. I may be a sexual tyrannosaur, but that is not the perfect body. Total dad body, ladies and gentlemen. But Poison Ivy, on the other hand, nothing in her powers says she's got to be thin and athletic the whole 9 yards, except for the fact that she may know that she's going to go up against Batman. But even still, she's got her powers, so I could make an argument for that. If they focused on certain heroes, they would make a better case. But saying Batman should be fat is just pure lunacy. We've already been over Black Widow in the first one of these that I did. The project started as a way to highlight the body types that are often presented to young comic book readers. As well, they should be. This is somebody who worked herself into perfection as well. She is an athletic person. Her job makes her have to be an athletic person. Not being that is just stupid and would get you killed. This is ignorance to choose the Black Widow. According to Denise Dunn, the director of the Clinical Excellence at American Addiction Centers, these illustrations could have an effect on one's body image. When it comes to perceptions of one's own body image, we know that starting at a young age, people can begin to internalize messages as to what is acceptable, and desirable, Dunn told Insider. Excellent. That sounds like a great idea. I think then, as young people anyway, begin to notice this kind of thing, we also put more of an emphasis on health, and in all honesty, it has nothing to do with it, but economics are two things I really always thought that should have been part of a general education. But that's just me. I'm a different breed of cat. Here's another one, Storm. Now, what they've got there doesn't actually look bad. As a matter of fact, I'm okay with that because, one, she's not, of course, you know, overly done. But the thing is, her powers doesn't need her to be incredibly athletic either. So I can buy into this. She controls the weather, she flies, the whole 9 yards. Now, of course, the lifestyle does, but I'm just talking superpowers here. It says the project is meant to spark conversation about the body types given to popular superheroes such as Storm of the X-Men. Now, when you're talking about powers, yes, but these aren't people who just have powers. These are people who actually go out and they run around and they exercise over and over and over again. And if you do that, you're going to be thin. Done. Eat right, exercise. That's all you need to do. That's all I need to do, and I choose not to for some reason. And then I gave myself stupid excuses. Get that out of people's heads, bulimia.com. Tell them stop making excuses and get up off of your ass. Characters like Phoenix from the X-Men are a hit with both adults and children. Yeah, kinda, I guess. Has nothing to do with, and they're not really saying anything about their project here, though. The project is also meant to spark a conversation about the standards set by drawings of characters like Wonder Woman. Yeah, she looks better on the left. Done. Plus, that's how she would look. The Wonder Woman I read, of course, it would be the George Perez version. She was created by the gods. Why would she not be created in a perfect image? Just saying. Once again, before they should have done this, they should have done research. That way they could have picked certain superheroes that this would have made more sense for. Unfortunately, our society has grown accustomed to seeing unrealistic beauty standards from photoshopped images on social media and in magazines to our comic book superheroes. Done Told Insider, we are often oblivious to the problems, not fully realizing how these images can impact our perceptions ourselves. And then you put down the media, and you notice in reality, not everybody has six-pack abs, except some do, some don't. Those who work at it do, those who don't work at it don't. Easy peasy, and that, my friend, is the reality of the situation. Study reality. Maybe that's what you need to do. What's the impact of reality on a person's perception of body image? Next up, they chose Captain America. The team behind the project feels the unrealistic body types of the characters like Captain America can have a negative impact on one's body image. Okay, yeah, let's take Captain America as an example. Do drugs, kids. It's going to give you superpowers and a super physique. And what about real soldiers? Aren't they put through some sort of exercise regimen? Granted, I've never been one, so I never lived through it. But according to the movies, the stories my brother and cousin told me, yeah, they kind of went through a boot camp before they were let out. So even if they weren't the thinnest of people, and by the way, my brother lost weight, he got fit. At least that, he went in fatter and he came out thinner, just saying. We can begin to have negative perception of our bodies and how we should look to be considered acceptable, Dunn said. This can lead some people down a slippery slope and put them at risk for an eating disorder as they strive for an unattainable image of beauty. And it may inspire people to try to attain that beauty or the physique or healthfulness, to tell you the truth. And I know better than anybody that negativity gets clicks. I've used it myself. But you gotta look at both sides of the issue and then come to a conclusion. The edits made to Rogue and the others are meant to point out the most common features used in comic book illustrations. When seen through a more realistic lens, the stick-thin thighs and visible rib cages vanish from the women while the men's exaggerated V-shape upper bodies are cut down to a more reasonable size, reads the description on bulimia.com's post. I hate to break it to bulimia.com, but since I did work out and I made sure that I had pecs instead of man titties before I became the dad bod that I have now, I still have that bit where if I wore a tight shirt, you would be seeing the ribs that they say that you shouldn't be able to see. The team behind the images think the superhero would make for even better role models if they had less impossible physiques. And here's the thing about Power Girl, or any of the bricks, let's say. I have a friend, her name's Ivy. She's a dancer. She's an acrobatic dancer. And she keeps herself very fit, to the point where there's muscle to her legs. The thing is, when they draw it in a comic book, it becomes mannish. It becomes looking like a man with boobs. And that's another problem. I'm not saying that's not out there, but it's not the only thing. And here they just make Power Girl fat, and that's wrong. They make her fat and then they deflate her chest. That's two things wrong. If these characters had a figure more like that of the average person, read that as fat, perhaps more people could look up to their favorite superhero without feeling the need to emulate an impossible physique, the team wrote. Or as I said before, they could be inspired and try to attain that particular body shape and be healthier for it. But you're not really talking about that. You're not talking about somebody who will be inspired or discouraged based on what they see in a comic book. You're talking about somebody with dysphoria, somebody who will never see their body as anything other than flawed. And that is not going to be affected one way, shape, or form by media in any positive manner. No matter what they see, they will never be able to live up to that standard because of that particular condition. So an anorexic, continues to lose weight to the point where it's unhealthy, and yet they still look in the mirror and they see a fat person. The team behind the series urged those who struggle with eating disorders and body image issues to reach out for help. Well, on that we can agree. We know that the majority of people searching for help begin online, Dunn told Insider. That's why American Addiction Centers offers several resource sites, including bulimia.com and recovery.org, where the public can access valuable content to help them make more informed decisions about their health and health care. Those looking for help with eating disorders and other related issues can turn to the organization's websites, and I absolutely agree with that. If you have an eating disorder, by all means, get help. Do what you need to do. Be honest with yourself as well, and that's the toughest thing, because whatever it is in your mind that's causing this isn't allowing you to be honest with yourself sometimes. So it's not easy, but if you think so, by all means, it doesn't hurt an ounce to try. But I just think bulimia.com went about it in the wrong direction. Now, there are, like I said, heroes and villains and such that you can make a case for. There's no reason for them to have this impossible, as you say, physique. I mean, why does Iron Man have muscles? I know, okay, it looks good, but it's iron. It's not going to mold to the muscles, just saying. So it is kind of ridiculous. And sure, that means Tony Stark doesn't have to have the perfect physique either. I think Robert Downey Jr. looks absolutely perfect because he's in shape, but he's not in Steve Rogers shape. Oh, and I hear this ridiculous body image thing on both sides. Oh, they're being body positive. Isn't that horrible? Because they're saying this and this and this. The worst of it, and I swear to gosh, I hear these freaking, I call them SJWs for our side, yell about faith. Are you kidding me? Her entire power is don't exercise. She flies. And if you ever read the book, she literally flies from the couch to the fridge, grabs ice cream, and flies back to the couch to eat it. It is natural for fat. It doesn't make sense for somebody with her power to be ultra thin, but nope, you'll hear them. Oh, it's so horrible that they're doing this because, oh, blah, 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 blah. Complain, 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 complain. It's a ridiculous argument. Look, artists are going to draw the characters the way they want to. They'll put muscles on Iron Man for some reason, and then again, they will, I guess, give Batman a dad bod. I've seen it in all sorts of ways. Can you tell me, if you look at Cosmic Odyssey drawn by Mike Mignola of Hellboy fame and ask yourself, why are these guys a little fat? Because that's the way he draws them. But that's just my opinion. What is yours? What do you think of the whole body image discussion here? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to click like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and go on over to Patreon or Ko-Fi. Drop $1 in the till. Helps keep the lights on and helps keep making videos for you. The names that are passing by right now are the names of the people who have already done that. I'd love to thank them very much for doing that. And to everyone, all of the true believers, thank you very, very much for watching. And don't forget to click on one of these videos that are popping up. Check those out too.